All right, y'all. We should be live. I'm gonna check on in a second. Ooh, Aiden Hutchinson, his leg broke. We should be live. Well, let me press start. No, we should be live on YouTube too. With that being said, give me about 2 seconds. You know I gotta verify everything is on. If I don't, then we'll end up having this with no sound or anything like that, and that's not what we want. So, let's check it out. Let me press start. Okay, we live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We are live on Instagram. Y'all let me know in the comments if you can hear me or not. We should be live on Instagram anyway. If not, it is what it is. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Oh, you know what? I got to go here and press. Lord, so much to do because of producer. All right. At the 9:45 mark, we are live on Instagram. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter. On Twitch. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to no episode. So, gonna let y'all know it's just me today. It is going to be your boy Reggie. I am your co-host of the Splashcast, your HBCU homeboy, number 1 of 2. Norwood took today off. We decided we weren't going to do a full pod today. We needed a day off, man. We had Saturday morning live off because Super Bowl is over with. Shout out to the Eagles. Go back and listen to episode 178 of the Splashcast, where we broke down the Luka Doncic trade. We also broke down the Super Bowl where the Eagles absolutely thrashed the Kansas City Chiefs. So today, y'all, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I came here to just talk about the NBA All-Star Weekend. I don't have a whole script of anything to do. I got something like right in front of me. If y'all know how I am. I'm always producing the episode as well as podcasting. So, but I will say, I don't really have a script here. I'm just kind of out here. We're going to wing it. We're going to talk about the NBA All-Star game, man. Really, NBA All-Star Weekend. There's a whole lot going on. You had the All-Star game, which is the new tournament-style format. You had the dunk contest, the three-point contest, the skills contest, or the skills challenge, I should say. And then you also had the HBCU game, or the HBCU showcase. You also had the Rising Stars challenge. And we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about the skills challenge controversy. We're going to talk about Draymond. Draymond Green had a whole lot to say about the new All-Star format. We'll get into that as well. As y'all know, I have I have onboarded a new executive assistant, executive producer. Assistant executive producer is what we call them. Appreciate all y'all showing love to that post. We brought on Kyra, who is now the assistant to Kyriel, as the executive producer of the Splashcast. So with that, again, without further ado, let's get into it. All-Star Weekend started out with you had the Rising Stars Challenge. That game turned out to be pretty good, actually. Stephon Castle won MVP of that game. I believe that was tournament style too, if I'm not mistaken, where it was the first to 40 points and they had 2 or 3 teams. It was pretty good, pretty competitive. They're playing pretty well. Do I like the format? I do for that particular event. I do like the tournament style format for it. And then we went on to the dunk contest, the 3-point shootout, and the skills challenge on Saturday. And then Sunday, we had the actual All-Star game. So the All-Star game, and the NBA's viewership has been down or declining over the last few seasons. They're trying to figure out a way to make the game more interesting and more appealing across the board, specifically with the All-Star game, where that is an issue in not only the NBA, but it's also an issue in the NFL as well. And the NFL has pretty much all but done away with the Pro Bowl, which is their version of the All-Star game or All-Star weekend. They just have a bunch of, it's like a field day. They just have like 2 days of a field day, dodgeball and tug of war and obstacle course, and they have just a field day, and that kind of works for football because football is so physical that you could at any moment, if you're really playing to get to if you're really playing, you could really get hurt. Famously, it's all about like the Robert Edwards. If y'all remember Robert Edwards from UGA, the running back, Pro Bowl selection, I think his first or second year with the Patriots, after having a stellar career with the Bulldogs, tore everything in his knee playing beach volleyball, and that was basically the end of his career. So if you ever look at the population or the participation of players in this Pro Bowl, that's when people started really opting out, when people started getting hurt. Basketball, it's a little different. When I was growing up, I'm a millennial. I can't even say young millennial anymore. I'm just a millennial. I mean, I'm middle aged. I'm 39. So when we were younger, the All-Star game was competitive. You had the East versus the West. There were no different teams in World versus NBA, just East versus West. Every player wore their own jersey. They didn't have all-star jerseys. They just had their own jerseys. For example, Allen Iverson wore the Allen Iverson jersey and all of that. And then afterwards, or during the game, they would actually play, and it would be a semi-competitive game. The All-Star game used to be semi-competitive. Of course, you know, you had your highlights. You had your T-Mac throwing it off the backboard, or you had AI crossing over and all of those things. But once it got into the second half, that game got really competitive. That is no longer the case anymore. What's up, Terrain? That is no longer the case with the All-Star game, and I kind of blame our generation. Our generation, the 2003, 4, 5-ish to now, or that 2003, that decade, like 2003 to 2015 in there, decade plus years, a lot of people opted out of the game. They didn't take it seriously. So that's why they're trying to institute all of these changes to get viewership back up and to get players to take it seriously and be more competitive. So let's start out with the skills challenge. So All-Star Weekend, you know, you have the skills challenge, the dunk contest, and then you have the three-point contest. When we were younger, the dunk contest was like the highlight. That's when you had Vince Carter 25 years ago in the Bay, had the greatest dunk contest of all time. The dunk contest was kind of like a rite of passage. So that was always last. Three-point contest was second. And I don't really remember, and for those that are in here watching, I don't really remember them actually having, I don't really remember them actually having a third event. I don't remember that at all, actually. I don't remember them having a third event at all. All I remember is the dunk contest and the three-point contest. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but y'all let me know. So they've had the skills contest. The Cleveland Cavaliers won that game. Evan Mobley is blossoming before our very eyes. He's part of the modern big man now. Is 7-footers all over the place. I think he had Zachary Ricochet and Alex Sarr on one team. And then you had Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama on one team. And, of course, Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama go first. And we're all expecting them to dominate because why? Victor Wembanyama is an alien. We knew that he was going to be great, but he came into the league and he's basically been great from day one. What happened? Chris Paul, A lot of players have strong feelings about Chris Paul. You know, if somebody says they have strong feelings about you, but don't say whether they like you or not, normally that means they don't like you. A lot of players don't like Chris Paul. He's very competitive. Some people say he's dirty. Some people say I ain't gonna say dirty. He blurs the line, but I attribute that to competitiveness and him wanting to win a ring. He teamed up with Victor for the skills challenge, and of course, big brain Chris Paul got him disqualified because they decided there's no advantage in actually trying to shoot the ball. So every time they went up when they got to the point where they had to like shoot the ball, you know, you got to pass it, 3 bounce passes, you got to do a chest pass through a target, you got to hit a 3, a free throw, and a layup, etc. They just threw the ball. They didn't care. I thought that was genius. Now I don't know the rules. You know, if you were watching, you saw that NBA employee, the guy who had like a little kind of a power trip. They were trying, and TNT was trying to go interview Chris Paul about what y'all were thinking and what he thought about being disqualified. But the NBA official came and was like, "Nah, we're not doing that," and basically showed them the rules, printed out the rules of the skills contest. First off, I don't believe that was the rules, Shaw. That was some bullshit. They just went and typed up something on Google Documents, printed it out, and said, "Yeah, there's the rules right here." Chris Paul was like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." But for me, that was big brain. Y'all don't have a penalty for not making shots. So if you don't have a penalty for not making shots, the advantage of making a shot is getting to go first. Is getting to move on quicker. But if you miss the first shot, you miss the second shot, you miss the third shot, you wasted time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and circumvent all of that, and I'm just going to throw the ball out there real quick. That way, even if I make or miss the shot, I can move on quickly. And their first round was like 30 seconds. For example, and I think the fastest time that of the qualified was like 1:21 or 1:20. And I think Cleveland won the second round with 1 minute and Draymond and I'll think of his name in a moment, the 3-point shooter. I didn't hate that move by Chris and Vic. Did y'all hate that move? I thought it was big brain. Everybody else hated it, but it does go against the point of making it competitive and making everybody want to tune in. I thought it was funny, but I knew the NBA was going to have to disqualify them because if you set that precedent, you might as well cancel the All-Star game. So Cleveland won. Oops. I have an idea. Sorry, y'all. I have an idea of how you can fix the skills challenge. I like the skills challenge. It is a little boring. I think it was really good when you added, if you remember a few years back, you had the skills challenge and you also had the mixed skills challenge. And it included, so the mixed skills challenge was the WNBA players and NBA players. You had to like hit a bank shot. You had to hit a 3. And then at some point you had to hit a half court shot along with doing the rest of the skills. I like that format. It took a little long because a lot of people couldn't hit the half court shot, but I challenge that now. The half court shot, a fan beat Dame by hitting a half court shot, and Dame had hit 2. Logo shots and half court shots are part of basketball right now. I think it'll be a lot easier for people to hit half court shots. So I think that they should bring back in the mixed skills challenge and also the format that they had before where you had to shoot more as well as do your chest pass and your bounce pass and dribble around and everything. But I've seen floated around to just do away with the skills challenge altogether. I saw people floating out a 1v1 tournament, which would be more entertaining. If you look at I don't say it's the WNBA. Yeah. No, it's not the WNBA, but WNBA players, Angel Reese, Breanna Stewart, and all of them started their own 3v3 league. And then they also have the 3v3, and then they also have like the 1v1 tournament that they're doing right now to get some money. I think that's actually a great idea, especially if you can make it incentivized. So a 1v1 tournament of maybe old versus new, You had different teams or maybe international versus whatever. You could add the parameters around the 1v1 tournament and then incentivize that for like $250,000, $500,000, $250,000 to you, $250,000 to your charity, or whatever. But I like the idea of a 1v1 tournament. It's not bad for me. All in all, I give the skills challenge about a 7. 6 out of 10. It held me there. It was a start, but I also knew that there was other stuff that I wanted to see. After the skills challenge, y'all, what happened to the dunk contest? The dunk contest is so boring. And no shade to Mac McClung. Mac McClung won his 3rd straight dunk contest. And for those that don't watch basketball devoutly, Matt McClung is a G League player. He is one of those Vine, Twitter sensations that he did a lot of dunking. He's 6'1" now, but at the time he was like 5'7", and he was dunking. And that he parlayed that into scholarship. I think he went to Georgetown, transferred 3, 4, 5 different places, and now he's in the G League. Mac McClung, a G League player, being your 3-time dunk contest winner is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. No shade, Mac. You did your thing. You're creative. But the NBA players should be ashamed of themselves. The dunk contest used to be a rite of passage. That was something that you did to solidify yourself as a superstar, right? If you won the dunk contest, even if it were for just 6 months, you ascended to, hey, he might be that guy. Y'all remember Harold Miner? They call Harold Miner Baby Jordan because he won the dunk contest. He was ball, played for the Heat. We knew Harold Miner wasn't going to be no Jordan, but the fact that you went out and won the dunk contest made that a thing. Who else? Jason Richardson. That was kind of boring. I ain't gonna lie to you. Jason Richardson winning the dunk contest. It was cool, but we don't really care. We know more about Jason Richardson for the off the court stuff in the Phoenix locker room. If you know, you know. But for us, people my age, y'all remember Cedric Ceballos when we were real little. When he had the when he blindfolded himself and ran from half court and dunked the ball. D Brown, the most iconic at the time. D Brown had the most iconic dunk until Jordan's free throw. D Brown's no-look dunk was the most iconic dunk until after Jordan's free throw dunk. I wouldn't say until Jordan did that in 88. D Brown was later. D Brown parlayed that into a shoe deal. The Reebok pumps are one of the greatest selling basketball shoes of all time. D Brown parlayed that off of the dunk contest. Then you fast forward, of course, to Kobe. You fast forward to Vince Carter. And then it died. We didn't have really any large participation after Vince Carter. I think T-Mac might have done it. Or T-Mac might have been in that Vince Carter dunk contest. Don't quote me. But then you had really nobody. And the dunk contest fell off all the way off. Nobody participated. I think we've had Dwight Howard and Nate Robinson. Shout out to Nate. You got your kidney, bro. I'm so happy you're back. Dwight Howard won it. Nate Robinson won it. But that's when you really started getting into the gimmicks. I remember Josh Smith was out there. But there weren't really any superstars like those guys. Like Dominique Wilkins was at the top of his game. Michael Jordan was at the top of his game. Kobe was ascending. Vince Carter announced himself as like the greatest dunker of all time, or put himself into that situation, into that discussion. What caused the dunk contest to fall off? Vince Carter being too good is one. I've heard a lot of different reasons. Here's mine. One, Vince Carter was too good. Vince Carter's dunk contest was so revered that other players just didn't want to do it. to LeBron. LeBron was, and now that we can look back on it, LeBron was the next guy of the league. You went from Jordan to Kobe AI and then it was going to be LeBron. I mean, you had Shaq in there, but it was always like Shaq and then like Shaq and Kobe. And then like AI, but nobody ever thought AI was the best player. Everybody just thought AI was really good. Even though he got the MVP that 1 year, AI was really, really good. LeBron had all the hype. He was supposed to be the best player. LeBron, Carmelo, shout out Darko. Darko ain't make it. But that year, those guys, our generation, didn't participate for whatever reason. I think they were scared to follow up on Vince. Or they were scared to lose. LeBron did the high school dunk contest. Wasn't great, but he won because he was just overly athletic. I mean, I think he did a reverse alley-oop where his head was above the rim. Literally. So, I mean, he had done it before on a smaller stage, but for whatever reason, he refused to do the dunk contest. And that set a precedent moving forward. I think in 2005, I think this clip has been circulating of him saying, yo, sign me up, or 2004, sign me up for the dunk contest next year. It might have been 2015. I can't remember. We're 2025 now. So it was either 20 years ago or 10 years ago. LeBron was like, sign me up. And then he just didn't do it. And if you look at the dunk contest after that, there have not really been any superstars in the dunk contest since LeBron said, I'm not going to do it. Now, you've had players elevate their status in the dunk contest temporarily or permanently. Aaron Gordon, one. Zach LaVine, another. They kind of announced themselves. I think J.R. Smith had a good showing. But in terms of superstars, it's all because of LeBron. Vince Carter set the bar too high, and nobody had any heart to go after it. It is what it is. So, I mean, and Zion, I think they're giving up BS stuff now. Zion talking about, when I make an all-star team, I'll participate in the dunk contest. Bro, you can't even, let me choose my words carefully. You, sir, don't have the discipline to even be in this discussion right now. If you gonna wait till you make an all-star team and you guys to get on the court, you gotta get healthy, which means you gotta control what you eat, control who you around, and all of those things. But I said all of that to say that whole introduction of what happened to the dunk contest is basically that's how we got here. We got to Mac McClung jumping over people and jumping over Evan Mobley and jumping over a car and doing all of these things, and they're bringing him up from the G League because nobody else wants to participate. Stephon Castle did pretty well. He had no props. Because nobody participates, because, well, I say nobody, no stars participate, other people have to bring in gimmicks. I think Blake Griffin had a really good one. But I think he was the first one to jump over a Kia car or something like that. You bring in the gimmicks. Now, in order to keep the viewership, you had to bring in Mac McClung. Now, Mac McClung can dunk. Mac McClung should not be three time in a row dunk contest winner. Should not happen. Should not happen. And Ja and Giannis, bro, yeah, we've been down this road, dog. We've been down this road with LeBron. We've been down this road with Carmelo. We've been down this road. I mean, KD didn't participate. I don't remember Russell Westbrook participating, but he should have. Derrick Rose, I don't think participated. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, or y'all let me know if I don't remember Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook participating. So you had all of these guys for basically 15 years just be like, yo, I'm not playing. Same thing in the NFL. All of these guys are opting out, and then people are wondering why nobody wants to care about the game. Well, viewership is down. Well, I mean, what you gonna do? So now we can talk about the actual dunk contest. Mac McClung was good. He jumped over Evan Mobley. He tapped the rim. Mac McClung does all the dunks that we did when we were in middle school, and we let the rim down, or we were in high school and we let the rim down to like 8 feet. That's all the dunks he does. He taps the backboard and dunks, taps the rim, jumps over somebody, jumped over a car, jumped over somebody while going over the car while doing a reverse dunk. That's innovative. I think he dunked the ball, jumped over Evan Mobley, took the ball off his hands, dunked it, and then dunked another ball from a guy standing on a ladder. That's cool, Shannon. That's cool. I would have liked to see more stars. Ja Morant, crazy. Giannis would be interesting. Normally, big guys in the dunk contest don't do well because they're not coordinated. But I mean, we're in a different age. Ja would be crazy. Giannis would be crazy. Jalen Green down there in Houston, wild. I think Jalen Johnson for the Hawks would be good. All of those guys are like fringe stars. And then of course, I mean, I don't know who else you would bring as a star. I don't know what star would participate now. Ant Edwards. Oh yeah, Ant Edwards. Duh. Ant Edwards should definitely be in the All-Star. Should be in the dunk contest. There's no reason for him not to be. So that's how you revive it, is you bring those guys in, which means you probably have to incentivize it more. But I mean, aside from throwing money, because the new NBA TV deals has made contracts absolutely crazy. So incentivizing with money doesn't do anything anymore. So if incentivizing with money doesn't do anything, how do you foster stars participating? I would say give them a car, donate to their charity. I don't know. I outside of doing something like For the Record, I don't really know what else you could do. But there's got to be a way to revive the dunk contest. I would rather you just go get some of these professional dunkers off social media to do it than if you're not going to have anybody really participate. And just have them as a team, kind of like you do the Celebrity All-Star game, and you have like somebody coach them. I would have a team. I would have the East and the West, and then I would have, young guys, and they would all coach and come up with dunks and help them, all of that stuff. And you have the players participate in the dunk contest as props for the guys coming up. I think that would work. That's probably a good idea. Because, I mean, you're not going to get any. I don't believe that we'll see Ja or Giannis or Anthony Edwards or Jalen Green or Paolo really ain't no elevator. But, we're not going to see any of those guys. I don't think any of those guys are going to go. So, cool on the dunk contest. 5 out of 10. Would I give the skills contest 6? Both of them. I give them 5. Half. 5 out of 10 for the dunk contest. I could have gone without it. 3-point contest main event. Easily, with the state of basketball that we're in now, easily the most exciting part of the All-Star weekend. Of course, Tyler Herro, if y'all go back and listen to the latest episode, I said Tyler Herro did not deserve to be in over Trey. I still stand by it. But he did win the 3-point contest. Him winning the 3-point contest, he beat out Dame and Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield put up a great showing, especially in the final round. He hesitated on his 4th money ball, or he would have gone 5 for 5 for money balls on his final rack and won the 3-point contest. But Tyler Herro got hot and won. Disappointing for Jalen Brunson, another Knick disappointment in the All-Star weekend. I think they had a dunk contest disappointment before. So I think that they should bring back the mixed teams format, though. Or I think they should bring in mixed teams format, or mixed, like you have. I don't know how you incorporate the WNBA, but y'all remember when they had Steph Curry go against Sabrina Ionescu? I think that they should do something like that. Or I think that they should have teams, and they should have WNBA versus NBA, or, mixed teams. The WNBA and NBA players go against each other. So, for example, I would have, Sabrina Ionescu and Klay Thompson versus Steph and Caitlin Clark, right? I can only think of those terms of shooters. I would have them, right? They would go at it. I would have Ionescu versus Steph, Caitlin Clark versus Clay on opposite ends, and then you just and you have it that way. I think that would be a little bit more exciting. Although, in terms of events being on the exciting meter, the 3-point contest is the highest it'll be. I think that would be dope. And then I also think that you should bring back legends. So, Steph, Clay, and Dame are 3-point shooting legends. Whenever they retire, they're going to be great. But what would be really cool is if you were to be able to get like Ray Allen, or I guarantee you, y'all please let me know and tell me he's alive. I don't keep up with a lot of stuff, but I'm pretty sure Mark Price is alive. Mark Price, Craig Hodges, all of those players that won in the past. I don't think Larry Legend can really move anymore, but to participate because of his back. But if you could bring back some legends or past winners and have them come back and then go against the current winner, that would be pretty dope as well. But all in all, 3-point contest, killing the dunk contest and the skills challenge. Absolutely killing the dunk contest and the skills challenge. So I would probably rate the 3-point contest just because of the excitement at the end and the way that we're shooting now. I would rate it a 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. You had participation. Oh, and the fan that beat Dame. So that was a great wrinkle. The fan that beat Dame shot from the logo. It was logo shots. He had to hit one shot before Dame hit 3. Dame hit 2. He hit he wasn't even close. Shout out to you, fan plants and all of the mascots that know to get the most unathletic, unassuming person out there. I hope one day that y'all get hustled. But he won. I think he won $10,000 or maybe it was $100,000. He won $100,000, and what he was supposed, and if he hit the shot before Dame could hit 3, and he ended up hitting the shot, and of course everybody went crazy. That was a really fun reaction when Kenny Smith and Shaq and all the mascots held him up in the air and were having fun. That was cool. That was a really good wrinkle added to the 3-point contest. Where we want to go from here, y'all? New tournament. Let's go to the game. Let's talk about the new tournament style. The new format was 4 teams. Team Shaq, Team Chuck, Team Kenny, and I believe Team Candace Parker. It was all those 3 of those guys, Shaq, Chuck, and Kenny, picked kind of like you were playing pickup basketball, and you picked their teams. And then Candace Parker had the Rising Stars on her team. She picked the best young players from the Rising Star team on her team. Tournament style. Each game went to, it was 2 games. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 games. 4 teams, 3 games, 1 champion. Each game went to 40. I'm not going to lie to you. So Team Shaq had to play Team Candace in the first game. The Rising Stars versus the OGs, I think is what Shaq was called. I'm not going to lie to you. That game was entertaining because the young stars did not care. The Rising Stars were out there really trying to play. And as Dame said at the end of the game when they had won, I think they won like 40 to 30, 34 or something like that. They didn't want to be the guys to lose to the Rising Stars. They didn't want to be the team to be upset by the Rising Stars. If you looked at that game, Kyrie Irving was playing defense. Like real defense. Dame was playing defense. It was almost like, okay, y'all think y'all supposed to be here. We're going to show y'all. I liked it. I like that format. I don't know if this is sustainable, though. The reason they introduced this new format, of course, is because viewership is down. And as it's the same reason I said that the viewership is down for the dunk contest. Viewership is down because our generation stopped playing and participating. So now they got to find a way to make it competitive. So you're going to have these wild games. I'm surprised they ain't playing dodgeball out there like the NFL because nobody participates, nobody watches, everybody opts out. I mean, that's what's happened. That's what you're going to get. So, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I've got a couple ideas that they should steal from Major League Baseball. So the Major League Baseball All-Star game determines who gets home field advantage in the World Series. So they've essentially made first place a league, not a conference thing and not a league thing, meaning the National League and the American League are the only ways that you can get first place. And then the winner of the All-Star game determines who gets first place, who gets home field advantage. So winning a 100, in basketball, for example, it would be the West versus the East. Whoever won the West versus the East All-Star game would get home court advantage, no matter what the score. So if who's the number? If the East had won, and Boston wins the number 1 seed, but they're the number 2 team in the league behind Oklahoma City still wouldn't get home court advantage. I like that rule personally. Yeah, Wemby was hustling. I'll get there. I like that rule personally. It fosters competitiveness. I don't know what that does for like sitting out, because if I'm firmly in first place, there's no need for me to play to try to win first overall place in the league. But it is what it is. What do I think about the tournament style? Like I said, I like it. As Norwood said in the chat, Wemby definitely was hustling. Victor Wembanyama was one of the winners of this weekend for me, because he not only played well in the Rising Stars game, in the first game, where he blocked Cade Cunningham, he hit threes, he was doing dunks. He was visibly frustrated in the final when it was Team Chuck versus Team Shaq, he being on Team Chuck. And on the game point, they just did a backdoor cut to win the game. And Victor was like, y'all gonna do that? That's some sucker stuff. You know what I mean? I get it. Victor being out there hustling may ignite other players to be more competitive. One of the things that I did not like about this All-Star weekend, especially on the game, LeBron James and Anthony Edwards late withdrawal. That was ugly. I don't know if it's because LeBron James is LeBron James, but it looked petty. So, day of the game, hours before, LeBron James confirmed that he was not going to participate because of a sore ankle. LeBron has never missed an All-Star game. I don't think until he got to the Lakers, LeBron had really missed any game because of injury. I think he did like load management, but I don't think he had really missed any game because of injury for real. He's like a cyborg. How I saw LeBron behave and show up shows me that he had never planned to play. He was never going to play in this. And this was more like sending a message. He didn't even wear the uniform. Giannis sat out, but Giannis at least wore the uniform when he got introduced. You know what I mean? LeBron showed up like he had just rolled out of bed and just went there. Like he took the private jet up to the Bay Area that morning and was just like, all right, I'm here. He looked like he didn't want to be there. And still, I don't think that was the more rude. I think Anthony Edwards was more rude. Anthony Edwards didn't tell nobody he wasn't playing. He just was like, nah, I'm good. And I think LeBron's was a sore ankle and Anthony Edwards is a sore groin. But the way that y'all went about it was nasty. That's nasty work. That's nasty, nasty work. The way that y'all went about it. And that's why I said I think it's petty. We already think that there's some players that got snubbed, especially out in the West. Trae Young in the East got snubbed. He should be starting. but he ended up being a replacement for Giannis. Cool. Kyrie, replacement for AD. Cool. I don't see how Domantas Sabonis and really Norman Powell didn't get stronger consideration for the All-Star team. I think Domantas Sabonis leads the league in rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. So if you knew that you were going to sit out LeBron, if you knew you were going to sit out Anthony Edwards, you could have told them earlier, and they could have got Domantas Sabonis there. They could have gotten Norman Powell there. They deserve to be there. They definitely deserve to be alternates. They damn sure deserve to be all-stars. So that's why I was like, yo, bro, that's nasty work. And as calculated and as smart as LeBron is, there's no way there wasn't some type of petty in that move. No way there wasn't some type of petty in that move. To me, if Adam Silver wants to nip that in the bud, he's going to have to add some consequences to the players if something like that happens. If they don't, he's going to either have to add a deadline to say, yes, I'm going to play or not within 48 hours maybe. Or he's going to have to institute either you don't get your money or you don't get to be an all-star or whatever. There's going to have to be some type of penalty for LeBron and AE, Anthony Edwards, for doing that. You might not be able to enforce it on them this year, but you can institute it for next year. It's got to be. I don't think their absence hurt any of the star power because I don't think LeBron and Anthony Edwards were going to play hard anyway. Of course, LeBron and Anthony Edwards do move the needle, but they were there in person. So them just being there creates the aura around them, but them being on the court would have been fantastic. For those that watched, did y'all watch Drake? Did y'all pay attention to what Draymond Green was saying about this entire weekend? Draymond Green had nothing to say. Nothing good to say about All-Star Weekend, especially the format. He said this is stupid, the game. He said that the All-Star floor is sacred. He said that the Rising Stars didn't deserve to be there on Sunday night. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Draymond sounded kind of jealous. He sounded kind of like, bruh, he was like, man, I ain't get to play there. They shouldn't get to play there either. I understand you got all the rings and all of those things, but Draymond was tripping, in my opinion. You might not like the format, but you also got to take into the account that this is your fault. This is your fault. Your fault being your generation's fault. 2003 to now. KD played, but I mean, nobody, I think, was it a year ago, they had 400 points. And they were basically saying, yeah, we got to do something. It was basically, it just ran up and down the court. There was no defense. So, I mean, for me, when it comes to Draymond, him criticizing the young rising stars for being there is misguided frustration. Misplaced frustration. If you're going to be frustrated at your peers for letting it get this bad. That we had to put in the rising stars, which you call them a U18 team, which was just disrespectful. But you had to put in the rising stars to play against the OGs. That's y'all fault. Ain't nobody else's fault. You can bitch and moan and whine on TV and go back on your podcast and whine and all of those things. But at the end of the day, bro, it's y'all fault. Led by your man. You know what he do? The king. LeBron has been the leader of the NBA for 22 years. When did he win his first ring? 2011? 27? So I would probably say when you go 2007. So 18 years, LeBron has been the leader of the league. 18 years. Where the way he moves is the way the league's gonna move. That's the amount of power he has. If he played competitively and said, come on, y'all, let's play competitively, that's what we need to do, everybody else would have played competitively. But you didn't. So I do agree something needs to change. This is a glorified exhibition. But I also think that the players got to have some pride, man. The All-Star game and the Pro Bowl and all these things is not only for you, it's also an appreciation for the fans, right? The fans voted you in, some of y'all, right? The fans are the ones. I'm not gonna say the fans are the ones that pay your bills, because that's a more nuanced conversation. But at the basis of it, if the fans don't go and don't participate, and you don't engage the fans, then you really don't have a career, right? Hence why they're trying to engage the fan all-star weekend. So I'll challenge you this. If you decide that this is trash, then I challenge y'all to then be competitive next year in whatever format it is. The NBA PA, work with the NBA to come up with a mutual format, some rules and guidelines when it comes to participation, along with consequences if you opt out the day of. Come up with some agreed upon incentives, and make the winner of the All-Star game, the team that wins the All-Star game, the East versus West, gets home court advantage in the finals. If you do that, we'll be right back. That's what baseball does. That's what we do. And Draymond's tripping. You sound jealous as hell, Shannon. Not gonna lie to you. What's up, Nessa? All-Star MVP winning team, of course, Steph Curry. Steph Curry told y'all he was going to win. He said, man, I just had a nap, so I'm ready to go. Steph Curry hit his half-court shots. He does this every year, and every year we're amazed. And every year he does this, Trey tries to come back and answer and is nowhere near. Nowhere near. You remember, I think last year, he hit the no-look logo 3 looking at Trey. Like, Trey Young quietly is kept be getting roasted by Steph on the All-Star court. Now, Trey played well. Trey played really, really well. But at the same time, Steph be cooking you on the court. Steph won the 3-point contest. I'm sorry, won the MVP. He beat out Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum went for it in the finals. Victor Wembanyama definitely was putting forth the most effort. I think he was a winner. I think he's going to be the leader of the league, face of the league. And I do think that eventually he'll bring back the competitiveness to this. While we're on this All-Star game, I don't like the format. I forgot to tell y'all why I don't like this format. I don't like this format because Jalen Brunson, for example, played a total of 8 minutes. 8 minutes. And that was it. They lost in the first round because they had to play Team Chuck and Victor Wembanyama and all of them. So they made the All-Star team. I think this is Jalen Brunson's first year, maybe his second. But if this is his first All-Star team, he played 8 minutes. Right? That sucks. Like to make the All-Star team, if it is supposed to be as sacred as Draymond says, and and players take this thing seriously, Jalen Brunson to me is one of the players that will actually take this seriously. If he's going to take this seriously, I would want him to play as much as possible. But because he lost in the first round, he didn't really get to play a lot. Bro, I mean, like, what you playing against Victor Wembanyama too. I think it was him. I think it was Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's first All-Star appearance, I think he only played like 7 minutes. Like, that's the part about the tournament style that sucks. Because those guys deserve to play a full, I don't think they play 12 minutes. I think it was 10 minutes. 6 to 10 minutes. It was back in the day. They deserve to play a full game, be subbed in, sub out, play when the game is on the line, and all of this. Play against everybody too. That sucks to me. I would have loved to see that. if you watch the All-Star game, y'all knew that they were going to do something special for TNT because it was the last All-Star game on TNT. Um, TNT had the first All-Star game on cable television. Um, it was a sad moment. They honored TNT all throughout the weekend. It was a classy move by the Bay Area and the NBA. I just didn't like all the stoppages and the presentations during the game. A lot of people, I didn't mind Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart has become the unofficial mascot of the NBA. He's like global Boosie. So Boosie is the unofficial mascot for the Hawks. If you ever come to a Hawks game, if you look and when they profile the Hawks, when we win a game and Trey hits a game-winning shot at home, they always show Boosie. They show Boosie and DC Young Fly. So I think Kevin Hart is the same way for the NBA. Or TNT. I don't know if he has like a contract with them, but he was basically the MC of the night. The halftime ceremonies was cool. Stopping the game, the final game, to honor the TNT hosts, I feel like they should have done that before, in between the games. So you had the first half and then you had the second half. If you're going to have the first half, which is going to be the first two teams, then you honor Chuck and all of them, and Shaq and Kenny and the TNT crew and Ernie and all those. You do that before the game. If you listen to what a lot of players said, and I agree with them, doing that in between the final game took all the steam out of that final game between Team Chuck and Team Shaq. At that point, I think the players just wanted to get it over with. Team Shaq came out tough. He built that team shooting threes. James Harden, Steph Curry, Dame Lillard. He had somebody else on there that shoots threes. James Harden, Kyrie Irving. Like, he had all 3-point shooters, which is today's game, which was cool. But you could tell they were actually in a good flow. I think Steph had hit his half-court shot. He came back. And so then when they finally got back, Steph eventually – Jason Tatum. If I was Jason Tatum, I'd be pissed off. Jason Tatum scored 8 of the first 10 points. He was cooking. He was going for that MVP. And then they did the stoppage. And once Steph came back after the presentation, that was it. Steph, I think he had 20 points, 10 rebounds. He pulled the Olympics. Same thing he did in the Olympics where he got hot at the end of the game. 3. He did the same thing. So, all in all, because we had 52, I'm trying to keep this at an hour. All in all, if you're going to have all those extra segments and everything, they should be standalone. If you look at the Super Bowl, they did most of they pre-taped all of their stuff. I think the NBA should look at how the NFL does things, and I think that they should figure and how the Major League Baseball uses the All-Star game to keep it competitive. Fix it. Of course, we know what's wrong with the game. Lack of defense, lack of effort. Incentives, bring back the East versus West. I don't really have it. Y'all let me know. I'm going to clip this up. Y'all let me know in the comments what you would do to make the All-Star game great again. Dang, is that MAGA? That is MAGA, but the wrong MAGA. Make the All-Star game great again. How can you make the All-Star game more competitive and wanting to watch? The biggest takeaway I got from this All-Star game, Victor Wembanyama is on his way, y'all. He blocked somebody in the paint, challenged the shot, leaked out, got the ball, Euro step, dunked, got fouled. I was like, dog, this is the All-Star game. Victor Wembanyama is insane. They did a camera, like the iPhone. They did the iPhone, I'm sorry, the Apple I don't forget what they call it, the goggles. And they had Donovan Mitchell guarding Victor Wembanyama. Bruh, that looked like a toddler looking at his father. Like, it is, to be 2 feet taller than a grown man is insane. Kevin Hart looks like he was just, you know how like you crop somebody down and make them smaller on the screen? That's what they did. Kevin Hart looked CGI'd out there the whole time. What would an All-Star game in 2026 look like? I don't know. I don't think they're going to come back with this tournament style format, and I don't know if they'll have. It's not going to be on TNT, and I'm pretty sure they won't have Draymond there because Draymond criticized the NBA the entire night. I'm gonna go back to it. He called it stupid. This is dumb. What are we doing? They don't deserve to be here. Get out of here. Like from day one. From minute one. So I don't know if Draymond will be back, but I would like to see what's gonna happen in 2026 to make this more competitive. I think they're going to have the one-on-one versus one. I think they're going to incorporate the WNBA because the WNBA right now is cooking in terms of viewership. And eventually, they're going to have to figure out a way to make it more incentive-based. But, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all for taking this time with me. Talk about the NBA All-Star Weekend. It was cool. Mac McClung, 3-time dunk contest champion. Wild. Never should happen. Tyler Hero, 3-point champion. Nobody really cares. But hey, shout out to you. And then, of course, Team Shaq with Steph Curry MVP. That's what everybody wanted. That's what everybody came to see. Oh, shout out Raphael Sadiq. He was out there. And shout out to the Bay. Having E40, Gary Payton, Too Short. What's my favorite word? I can't believe they actually played that song. Having was dope. So, Too Short, E40, all of those. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our recap. Remember, always like, follow, subscribe. We will be back. Y'all stay tuned. Next week, Norwood's back. We have playoff basketball. Playoff basketball is back. Y'all stay tuned. We're out of here.